Oh, nice. Let me change my title. Okay.
Morir es vivir, morir es vivir. Cerebros, cerebros. God. Cogedlo, cogedlo, cogedlo. Morir es vivir, morir es vivir. Muere.
Yeah, so Salad, I have yet to find a Magnum, and I have 126 frickin' Magnum ammo, dude.
¡Mátalo!
Is the game too loud? Wasn't this permadeath? We were doing permadeath before, but I am just doing a casual run for fun because I am very, I don't know what the hell these guys are doing, but I am very rusty. Yeah, we finished the Still Wakes the Deep DLC. It was really short, actually. I gotta say, I did enjoy the main game a bit more, like story-wise and character-wise. I thought the DLC was okay. Wasn't in love with it necessarily, but it was okay. Yeah, I mean, the full game was only 4 to 5 hours long, but it's still... I mean... Just... It felt... Just felt better. I'm not hating on the DLC, like chat. I think it was okay.
¡Mátalo!
That was smart. You know what? It's fine. Hold on. I'm just fixing my keybinds so I can do inventory a bit easier. How's the randomizer? It's been fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm just doing a casual run right now. Just getting more practice with the game because it's like yesterday when we were doing the randomizer, we ran into phase 2 or like final fight Krauser, phase 2 Krauser, whatever, and he fucking destroyed me. I'm like so bad at fighting him, and he does so much damage too. So I practiced fighting him for a little while, which honestly helped a lot. Still not great at it, but oh, this section's probably really rough sometimes. Oh, hold on one sec. Oh, never mind. No more permadeath? We are just doing a casual run to learn the game, because I haven't really done a full run of this game in like a long time.
Mr. Kennedy. Still alive, I see. So, do you like my garden?
I see you've managed to work in a little of your twisted taste here, too.
Sagacious as I am, even I get lost here sometimes. Even if it takes your whole life, you'll never get out. Do you know that no one dies without a cause? You will satisfy the stomachs of my cute pets. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to tie up a few loose ends, like chasing down a couple of rats.
2 rats. If one's Lewis, who's the other? Huh. They're an intruder besides me?
Oh boy. Dude, we have so many red and yellows, but we don't have like any green herbs. Kind of scuffed. There's a Mendez in there. I don't know if the striker is very good against these. Oh, what the You serious, man? That was some serious range, dude. I was not expecting that. Why not play the remaster? Because I wanted to play the original. I've done Randomizer in the remake. It's really, really good. But I've also done it quite a few times now. You can't shoot through there, right? There's a hole in the fence. Yeah, but he wasn't even aiming at the hole, dude. I killed him in one hit this time? What you mean? I shot him like 3 times before. He didn't even die. You stay in there, buddy. I don't remember the layout of this maze very well. Okay, we're back here again. HP is randomized as well. I think I think HP is randomized to a degree. But I don't think the HP should change every time you like reload. What the? Actually, we can make space. I need this egg. I need it. Wish you could just load it straight into the gun. He dropped his rocket launcher. We have the 2 moon. We have both now, right? Oh no, we only have 1. Okay. Ha. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, God. Oh! I think RE4 is a better randomizer than Remake. Hmm. I don't know, remake was pretty damn good. I mean, they're both good.
Bloqueale el paso.
Am I done with Night Rain? Yeah, I'm done with it forever.
Put your hands where I can see them.
Sorry,
quit.
But following a lady's lead just isn't my style.
Put them up now.
No, I mean, I'm still gonna play Night Rain, and the enhanced bosses update is gonna release in like a week or two for Night Rain, I think. Or I think they said it's coming later this month or next month.
Bit of advice, try using knives next time. Works better for close encounters.
Leon. Long time no see.
So Plasma, thank you for
Ada.
the 2 months.
So it is true.
True? About what?
You, working with Wesker.
I see you've been doing your homework.
Why, Ada?
What's it to you?
Why are you here? Why'd you show up like this?
See you around.
Ada!
Kraus, or is Mendez coming all the way over here? I hope not. Ooh, what is that? I'm sorry, Egg. My god, another fucking incendiary grenade? Bro, I have too many!
Welcome! Got a selection of good things. What are you buying? What are you buying? What are you selling? Is that all, stranger? Is that all, stranger? Is Thank you. Come. Back any time.
I feel like he's just gonna show up at one of these
What are you
points.
selling?
How much do the grenades sell for? They actually sell for a lot.
Thank you.
Maybe I should keep... whatever.
Thank you. What are you buying?
I mean, they sell for half of their buy value. I mean, honestly, I think selling them instead of using them is kind of makes more sense. Sell pistol. Yeah, maybe we should just sell the blacktail. That's probably not a bad idea. Honestly. I think we'll just sell it.
What are you buying? What are you selling?
I don't know, we're gonna lose like 60k if we want to buy it back, but whatever.
Thank you.
Other grenade? I know. Having the auto sort in Remake is so nice. I do miss it. We will get a Magnum at some point, and we will be so strong. Honestly, I think starting with a Magnum in this rando is so important. Does the merchant sell herbs? Nope. The merchant sells 3x green herb, which we don't want. Yeah, the subalerts are muted. I turned them back on now. Thank you for the 2-year resub, Radex. Another red yellow, dude? Are you kidding me? This is absurd. Where's the fucking green herbs? Oh, right, we're here now. You can't just use red and yellow, though. It has to have a green in it. At this point, the run comes down to not getting one-tapped. I mean, it's the same thing in the remake, though. Like, not getting chainsawed. Chainsaws are really the only thing that can kill you in the remake. If you have body armor. But yeah, you can use green and yellow, but green is still the least attack. That was a strong knife. Sent her flying. Wait, do enemies infinitely spawn here? Oh shit. That chainsaw guy was really weak. Any oil rigging DLC later? We already beat it. I finished the no death run. Nope. Okay. Oh god, not again. Oh, that is the scariest enemy in like in this game. By like a large margin, it's terrifying. What the hell is that man made of? Oh my god, finally a green herb. It happened. There's an item down there. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with the candles. I don't think that's right. What the? Hey Dara, what's up? Oh my gosh, there's so many items in there. What the? Gonna say, I'm not gonna have space for this. All right, back to full health. Why are they so tanky? Hello, Erase. What's up? Aren't there enemies that... no, I'm thinking of the enemies that show up later.
Welcome.
It definitely seems like the hardest part about this randomizer is in the early game, though.
What are you selling?
Well, I mean, actually, that's not completely true, but as you get into the late game, I do feel like it becomes a bit easier.
What are you buying?
It's just the fact that the merchant upgrades are like locked out is kind of messed up.
What are you selling?
Could sell the rifle and buy it back as well. Hold on, let me
Come
make a
back
save.
any time. What are you selling? Ah, what are you buying? What are you buying?
Oh my god. Holy shit,
that
there's
all,
a Magnum,
stranger?
and it's not very good. But it's a Magnum. But we don't have space. Oh, jeez. Okay, you know what? Let's sell
What are you
more of our
selling?
incendiary grenades. I think flashes are more valuable.
Thank you.
Like, we need to make space. I don't really know. I mean, we could sell the mine thrower. I do kind of like the mine thrower, though. Maybe we should sell some red yellows. I don't know if I want to use the bolt action rifle anyways. I have like too many heals.
What are you selling?
Let's see, the golden eggs sell for 6k, red yellow is 13. Yeah, I mean, red yellows sell for quite a bit. Honestly, I'm gonna sell like 2 of them.
What are you buying?
I mean, the red yellows don't do anything for me without a green anyways.
Is that all? Thank you. What are you buying?
I can't tune up the Killer 7
What are
though,
you
not
selling?
yet. But hey, I mean, it's still a 13 firepower Magnum. It's not bad. Kind of tempted to buy the rifle back, but I'm gonna be like almost out of space. Still, it's kind of the problem. It's this fucking rocket launcher just sitting here. It's like not doing me any favors. I feel like having all these flashes is good. Nice. Nice, Larksa. Use the Magnum, you'll free up some space. I mean, like, 1 inventory space, potentially. I need to use the rocket. I don't know, like, what's... what I should use the rocket for. No, there's no storage. I mean, it's just Salazar is kind of far away.
I got it.
Now that I have the sample, you serve me no purpose.
Sadler!
My boy Salazar will make sure you follow the same fate.
Stay with me, Louis.
I am a researcher, hired by Sadler. He found out what I was up to.
Don't talk.
Here. It should suppress growth of the parasite. The sample. Sadler took it. You have to get it back.
Louis! Louis!
Time for this frickin' section. Help!
My name is
Toilet bitch.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the painting.
Talk about near-death experience.
Ashley, get out of there!
Oh shit. You know what? Let's just fucking magnum some dudes. He's still... Bro, what the fuck are you made of? Hello? I mean, I know that wasn't a headshot, but... Like, seriously? I can't tell if his... Did he have a helmet on, or...
The door's locked. I can't open it.
Go forth. Touch the demon inside me.
Hey, Academy, thank you for the 2 months. I feel like my fucking pistol is better than this magnum. Right in the dick. Alright, Ashley, come on. Dude, like... Wait, what the f... The damage value be showing incorrectly? I don't know, man.
I got the key. I can get out.
And then what the hell is this part like? Part's probably horrible.
Morir es vivir. Muere,
Okay, that's fine. Does that guy just chill as long as...
morir es vivir. Morir es vivir. Morir es vivir. Cerebros. Muere, muere. Cerebros, cerebros, cerebros.
Oh! I mean, I wonder if can you get like the fucked up enemies here? Oh my god, he's still shooting it. You're still alive? I don't think he can hurt me during this. Never mind. Wait, what is the point of... We don't even need to do that. Force doesn't do damage when he's on the floor. Yeah, I think you're right. Wait for him to stand back up. Surely that's enough to kill him, right? I forgot to loot the money at the start. Oh, that was after I made the save. Never mind. Alright, well, it seems like the first guy doesn't bother you, so that's good. Ashley's inventory goes to Leon. Oh, you know, I guess since it's a randomizer, hypothetically you could get the item for this right away. The tablet isn't used here, right? It's like a medallion or something used here, I think. Or yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, it's for the slide puzzle. But one of the buttons is here. I remember, I think you go in here, you press this button. Then press this button, and then this one. Oh. I mean, now we have everything. I am kind of curious though if what else could be over here. The red herb. I know we get attacked by some of the statues after we do the puzzle. terrible. I remember how to do the solution, chat. Dude, Leon's not gonna be able to hold all this stuff from Ashley. How miserable the Ashley section is for the rando. Doesn't seem too bad, but maybe I got lucky. I don't know. Actually, did he get... Are there just no statues? I guess not. There's no armors. Normally there are the armors that attack you. I guess the rando removes them? I don't know. Oh, green herb.
Majestic!
Hey, Goodwin, thank you for the 2-year resub.
Ashley! You did good.
I'm sorry if I was...
Oh, don't worry about it. Come on, let's move on.
Alright, well, here we go with this nonsense. Can I eat this?
Oh, what a touching moment we have here.
All spoiled thanks to your interruption. Why don't you do us all a favor and leave before the audience gets pissed off?
You're nothing but an extra in my script, so don't get too carried away. Your biggest scene is over.
I don't ever remember being a part of your crappy script.
Well then, why don't you show me what a first-class script is like through your own actions?
Alright. You know what? I'm gonna sell some more incendiaries, I think.
What are you selling? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Alright.
What
Dude, we
are
are
you
so
buying?
rich.
What are you selling?
How much do first aid sprays sell for, actually? Oh, they don't sell for, like, shit. Hmm.
What are you buying?
I mean, whatever. We don't really need to worry about it. Anyways.
What are you buying?
We could buy the blacktail and potentially try to tune it up, because it is in the list now. I don't know if that would be a good idea. We have way too much healing, though. I mean, we have... We have like 15 heals in our inventory right now. Yeah, the Matilda is good. I don't know how much the Blacktail upgrades for. Yeah, I mean, we're like super stacked right now. I thought of running The Last of Us 2. I really don't like The Last of Us 2.
Wait here.
I played through it all, but yeah, not the biggest fan.
You print money. I like money.
Hey, Hikoten, thank you for the 19 bucks. Thank you, man. I thought there's a guy in there. Oh, I could just shoot the... Shoot the supports. I wonder if I can one-shot the supports with the Magnum. I remember there was a guy in chat the other day who was complaining that they didn't put this part in the remake. And it's like, are you surprised? There you go. Kinda obvious why they didn't put this part in the remake. I mean, this part's just a little silly. Like, I don't know, they were going for more realism in the remake. And, I don't know. A random room filled with lava is kind of like getting into like Dark Souls 2 Iron Keep territory. Like, oh yeah, I just went up the elevator to a giant area filled with lava. I prefer the remake to the original as well. But I do like the original a lot too. I mean, I used to speedrun the original and I'm a fan of the game. Need to kill every enemy in this one because the item randomizer. I don't know. So there are some enemies that can drop key items, but it's not like guaranteed. We still don't. By the way, we still don't actually have the. Wait a second. Aren't we? This might be a. This might be a problem, chat. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say we're missing one of the the pieces. And I don't know where else, like, we could have checked, but it was just right there at the end. Alright. Nice.
Oh, very good. Very good indeed.
I will say though, I think the remake randomizer has better like progression. I think the merchant in remake is much better because the merchant gets like new stock every chapter in the remake, and in this randomizer, you know, I don't know, the merchant's kind of like weak. It takes so long before you can actually upgrade new stuff. I checked the broken butterfly room. No. Go back though, or forwards? Wait, how do I even get back there? Do we have to go back through Waterhall? Because it was after Waterhall, wasn't it? Does this? No, you don't. I thought that guy dropped something. I have an egg, Ashley. The increased FOV. Yeah, it definitely helps a little bit. I don't really care though. The FOV of the base game is a little like nauseating, honestly. Okay, and then now this goes back here. I see. We were able to buy a Magnum, actually, in this chapter. Although, honestly, the Magnum has felt pretty weak so far. Mine darts. Give yellow health to Ashley. Yeah. I could do that. Or I could take them all for myself. Wait, Ashley?
Follow me.
Magnum always kind of weak until you upgrade it. Not really, no. I think the killer set this you know what, hold on, let me double check. Okay, so yeah, this gun is supposed to have 25... This gun has 25 firepower by default, but ours has half of that. So. Unlucky. I'm unprofessional. Where am I going? Oh. An item there. You get the revolver room? I don't know. Probably. Alright, time to go back. Revival of RE5 with the remake. Dude, if they do an RE5 remake, that is going to be so much fun. Honestly. I really like RE5. I think if they make the game a little bit more... Like, I could definitely see the potential of the game with... some of the sections, in my opinion, in the original are kind of janky and kind of weird, but there's a good amount of, like, variety in the maps in that game, and a good amount of enemy variety, too. So, yeah, it would definitely be cool to, like, seeing some of the areas reimagined would be really, really neat. Wait, where does this one go? Oh, this is where I need to go. Was there anything else up the staircase? No one brings up good things about RE5 without stating the co-op part. I mean, yeah, that's fairly true. I do think the game is more fun co-op. I don't really like having to control an AI companion. You know, I say as I'm playing RE4 with a fucking AI companion literally following me, but... You wonder if grenade damage is static across the board, or if it's randomized as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the damage is probably static? I don't know, that's a good question. I mean, the gun damage is randomized, but the grenade damage might be fixed. Okay, we'll go over this way first.
Follow me.
I don't think I would want to eat a chair, to be honest. Oh, good God.
Wait. Wait.
Where the hell did that guy go? He invisible? Sounded like he just tried to grab me. That's concerning. I don't like that. He teleported? Did he now? Activate when you pick it up. Oh, okay.
I like those.
Might be good to skip this cutscene.
I like those.
You going for Ashley? No, you don't. Hey, Hyperliquid. Thank you for the sub and the 3 gifted subs, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Alright, we need to sell some, oh, what the? You good? He's fine.
Follow me.
I think the merchant's in here, right? Oh, there's another shooting range here. We don't really need to do the shooting range. I mean, we can just for the hell of it. We definitely. I mean, God, we have. I'm like so rich. Fuck.
Thank you.
400K? Crazy. Not allowed to upgrade, I know, right?
What are you buying?
Like, the Blacktail might be better than the Matilda. Potentially. I mean, we can see, actually.
What are you selling? Thank you. What are you buying? What are you buying? What are you selling? What are you buying? Thank you. What are you buying? Thank you.
The upgrades are shit. Playing the RE4 remake randomizer after you finish the original. I mean, we could do it again, but I mean, we could just do like a casual run of it for fun, maybe with some like difficult settings on. I don't know if I really want to do like permadeath RE4 remake. We already did 2x enemies and 3x enemies? Or no, or I can't even remember what we did, but we've done a few deathless runs
Welcome.
now. The thing is, if you crank the enemies up too much, then it starts crashing a lot. And also, like, having more enemies can actually...
You print money. I like money.
Having more enemies can make it easier in a way, because you end up getting so rich that you can upgrade your stuff, like, crazy amounts. So I don't know. It depends. Honestly, I think I'd be more inclined just to do a randomizer run with, you know, more like higher chance for more bullshit enemies, like Verdugos and chainsaw enemies and stuff like that. Rather than, and maybe just do it for fun. It doesn't have to be like permadeath. And again, not that permadeath isn't for fun, but you know what I mean. Wait, haven't I done this one before? Yeah, we have. It needs to be the B game type, I guess. Nailed it. I think that's it, right? I don't... Oh, was that different? Okay. That's definitely different. I think that's everything. Big money. Alright. What would be difficult for you in an RE4R run? I mean, I don't know, man. Like, the thing is, if you want the run to be really difficult, you make it so the player doesn't have enough ammo to actually kill stuff, right? And that is ultimately that ultimately comes down to like what kind of randomizer settings you have. But then you can also run into like soft locks. So I don't know. The most dangerous thing in Remake is Ashley.
Wait. Follow me.
Mendez Hill? Well, yeah, because of Ashley. Wait, isn't there... Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I can't remember if this is actually a thing in the OG or not, but it definitely is. This guy's got a dynamite. I think there might be a snake in one of these guys. Can't remember. We have so much fucking... This is just like stupid how much supplies we have. Oh shit.
Wait.
Wait.
Get the fuck off me!
This is really kind of annoying. Thing is, I think nades can kill Ashley pretty easily. I feel like that was not the best way to handle that. I don't know. The mine thrower is cool, but it takes a long time to like shoot. The animations are kind of lengthy.
Follow me.
Yeah, maybe we actually should just shoot it at the ground instead of shooting it onto the enemy. Guy was tanky. Well, a lot of my shots missed his weak spot. Also, Joe Joestar, thank you for the 4-month reset. Thank you very much, sir. That is scary. Oh wow, we have 61 rifle ammo though. It might be a good idea to actually like buy the rifle at some point. But I kind of want to wait for the Stingray. That scared you? I'm not sure if it's better to go through this way because I don't know if you actually get a checkpoint if you go this direction. I mean, in a permadeath, not that that would matter. Oh no, I guess it's fine. I guess you do either way. Okay. Oh yeah, we could shoot the center down. Well,
Damn it!
at least she's gone.
Ashley! Great. More of them.
Oh. Oh, Jesus. Okay, can I mag this guy? That's gonna hit me. Oh, he's dead. Okay, he actually dies he dies pretty fast then. That's not too bad. Did use a lot of my heals, but that's okay. their aim sucks ass. It sucks ass from long range. It's actually pretty fucking good from close range. I say as he misses me, but it is pretty good though. Still Wakes the Deep DLC. It was okay. I didn't think it was amazing, to be honest. But it was okay. Well, goodbye. Alright, can we mine round this? Doing the Dipman glitch on the card section? I mean, I could. I wasn't planning on it, but it is kind of a fun glitch. A lot of treasure. That's a crown jewel. I can't even remember what... We don't have it. Yeah, this is just the... We're just doing a fun rando run. It's not permadeath. I do want to try it permadeath potentially after, but I just want to play the game.
Welcome.
I'm like really... it's been too long since I played through this game.
What are you selling?
Oh, can we
what
actually...
Are you buying?
What? Oh, okay.
What are you selling?
Oh, some more grenades.
Thank you. Come.
Honestly, we shouldn't use the golden eggs. We should have been using the first aid sprays.
You print money. I like money.
I don't want to buy another... I kind of want to buy the rifle, but...
I'm back any time.
Green, red, yellow herbs. Yeah, I probably should have used those too. I mean, in an actual run, I think I probably would have used those. But since I'm not too worried about dying, it's like, eh. Can I reload the 6 handgun ammo? Yeah, but then every time I pick it up, it's gonna put itself in a weird spot, so... Also, it's only gonna reload 1 bullet. I think the casual run will help with how random the permadeath runs will be. Yes, because there are enemies and situations that you cannot be prepared for in a randomizer. For example, yesterday, I ran into Krauser. I ran into the second phase of Krauser and he killed me 45 times in a row. And then I finally started to understand how to fucking kill him. So yes, it's kind of important. 45, I don't fucking know. It was a lot. It was a lot. I was dying like over and over again. 30 times. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I mean, it really helps to like practice the game.
I wonder if you can see me, Mr. Kennedy.
If you even scratch her, I'll break your bones.
First, we shall see if you can make it this far. I'll be waiting.
Shit.
Honestly, the main reason I'm doing a practice run though is because I don't want to like get 5 hours into a permadeath run just to die to like missing a QTE or, and like I know you guys might be like, oh well that's funny, so you should. Listen, I don't care. I don't want to fucking die to some like. I want to know what's coming up. I'm arguing with the shadows. Yeah, because I know what people are gonna say. It's like just make it to the end of they die to gimmicks. I mean, Ella blowing himself up with a grenade was completely his fault, if that's what you're implying. Although, wait, I can't remember. Did he die to the jet ski? Well, he died before to the grenade. According to, oh yeah, I've, you know, I was watching Ella, I was watching his Liza P playthrough of the DLC, and I was like, he was literally calling everything a gimmick. It's like, anytime he dies, yep, another boss gimmick. It's like, alright, dude. Like, I get it, but not everything is a gimmick.
Stranger, thank you.
He's addicted to saying gimmick. I think he is. I think you're right. Yeah, I would rather the difficulty of the randomizer be, you know, the situations that you get put in, rather than the difficulty just being dying to something you were unaware of. Can I shoot this from here? What other practice has the casual helped with? Just playing the game in general. Game kind of controls a little weird. Not all of them. Like, you'd be surprised how much just playing a game in general helps with practice. You have to practice shit to get good at it. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's fucking bridge. QTE randomizer, that sounds... That's... The QTEs in this game generally are they're so fast that you are just like, you're just gonna fucking die. Oh shit. Check QT. don't know if I'd call it much of a skill check. I think some of the QTEs you actually, you only have like, I don't know, maybe half a second to react or less. But like in that half a second, you're also supposed to like tell, you know, figure out to read the buttons and then press them accordingly. Luckily in this you can just spam the QTE buttons. Doesn't actually penalize you for pressing the wrong button. So. Did I do randomizer no death? No, not in this game. Yeah, this randomizer also randomizes the weapons. Oh my god. Just die. Honestly, I should have just ran out of this room. The thing is, there's some areas where you just, I don't think you need key items. I guess we are just doing a casual run after all, so maybe it is good just to kill everything in case there could potentially be like a drop that we need. Well, that works. He did just throw a bucket. Oh. Did these guys infinitely spawn? Nah, no way. A lot of money. Honestly, we don't need money anymore, though. Well, maybe we will. I don't know. We have like $500,000. Pesetas. Yeah, we actually almost have 500,000. Yeah, a little silly. Alright, this room coming up is kind of sketch. Can be. Well, in the, you know, it's probably... there's a dog there this time. Did he hear him? the... Where'd these cows come from? I don't know, we're using a lot of our... We might need the rifle. Look, I'm going through a lot of my ammo. Maybe it's fine, though. Let's see, we have 10 shotgun, 35 handgun. We have 60 magnum. We've actually gone through a lot of our magnum ammo, too. Another green herb. Have a good night, Arcadia. $64 magnum shots. Well, I had like 130 before.
Leon!
Mr. Kennedy, don't you know when it's time to throw in the towel?
No! Leon!
I almost didn't hit that.
Where's the satisfying sound of one's impalement?
Don't fall for this old trick.
Not that it would have mattered.
How dare you! No more games! Kill him! Kill! Quickly! We shall prepare for the ritual!
Leon, you're alive.
So maybe you have 9 lives, but it doesn't matter now, Mr. Kennedy. I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
Say whatever you please. Die, you worm!
You see, you know, I knew that there was a chance that would happen, but because I'm not doing permadeath, I don't really care. I should have just used the shotgun there. Oh. That's okay. Fucking mines, dude.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Got some rare things. What are you
What you got?
buying?
He sells 14 incendiaries. Only one flash, though. That's so weird. Really.
What are you buying?
There's
What are
nothing
you
to
selling?
buy.
Thank you. Thank you. What are you buying? Come back anytime.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I upgraded the Blacktail. It's worse than the Matilda, so not worth using, sadly. See if the rifle rolled well. Yeah. It's just the bolt rifle is so slow to use. It's like kind of
Welcome. Got some rare. What are you buying? Is that all? Is it? What are you selling? Thank you. What are you buying? Is that all? Thank you. What are you buying? Thank Thank you. What are you buying?
They're no exclusive for the...
What are you buying?
They're... Is there exclusives in this game? I can't remember.
What are you buying?
Okay, I thought so, but it wasn't... I assumed if I could upgrade it fully, that... the exclusive would unlock, but...
Back anytime.
I mean, it's not bad. We are kind of low on other ammos, so... Fuck it. This shotgun in my inventory is just taking up so much space. I mean, the damage is okay, but it's... I mean, let's be real. This is like the damage of... This is the damage of my Magnum, except it's like 5 times slower. I don't know if there's a weak point bonus in this game. Yo, what's up, Demo? How's it going, man? Oh, hey, Hestia, thank you for the Prime sub as well. Thank you very much. No, no chicken boss. Double was pretty nice. Dang. The thing is, chat, the Stingray is what we want. Made the skip work, but one part feels not great to do. I see. Oh, what the? Oh, I destroyed all of them. I think it's when you interact with this that he spawns in. Oh, he's fucking dead? That was easy. I was thinking like, should I use the RPG here? But I guess he's really weak. Well, in the remake, he would not die that easily. Let me tell you. I mean, if you freeze him and shoot him with a rocket launcher, you can kill him pretty fast. In the remake, but it takes like a ton of magnum shots to kill him normally. They're fixing the Nameless King Iron Eye bug. They already fixed it.
It seems that Salazar is having difficulty taming the American pig. Salazar had his chance. Krauser, go get the girl. Oh, and dispose of the swine while you're at it.
Consider it done.
2 rockets on the remake to kill him? No, it's only 1. Trust me, I've played remake a lot. But you do need to freeze him and then shoot him with a rocket. Well, maybe I should have just rocketed him anyways.
Welcome.
Well, actually, no. You know what? There's the double ogres coming up. Although, I can't remember. Can you, after you kill the ogres, can you get back in, or are you locked out? Oh, we can make a save and see, I guess.
What are you selling?
How much are red herbs worth?
Is that all? Thank you. I'm back anytime.
The dynamite. Oh shit. That.
Welcome.
Honestly, we don't need to. There's like really not much of a point in doing this, but it's been a while since I've done it, so why not? Doesn't take very long compared to remake anyways.
soldier! Look! You can see where they dug up the box! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Floppy! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special!
Echoing?
Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Special! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the hero boy feel special! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the hero boy feel special! Special! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the hero boy feel sloppy! Sloppy! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the hero boy feel special! Special! Anything to make the pretty boy feel special! Anything to make the hero boy feel sloppy! Sloppy! You remember the fight in the jungle? We barely made it out alive, you dumbass! There's more where that came from. Think you can swallow me whole, huh?
I'm just letting you guys enjoy the experience. What was that? That was the 1998 song. It wasn't even linked? What do you mean? We already have the dynamite. We could also just shoot it with the rocket, because we do have a second rocket we can't really use. Sell the rocket? Yeah. Probably do that. Right. Normally you would need to go back to the power. I mean, we already have the dynamite. I'm just curious if anything can be over here. The section is so much more chill than the remake. It's kind of insane. Oh my god. Their first aid spray. Oh right, I need to do the lever again. Wonder what's even in here. Because it still looked like it was the dynamite. Not just a treasure. Whatever, dude. Does seem like you can go back, so I guess we can just change. I guess we can just rocket these guys. Go grab the next one. I think it's just getting close to the door that triggers them, maybe? Hello, gentlemen. I think you have to actually aim at them. Maybe you don't aim at the ground like an RE4 remake. I think you can kill them both with... I don't know. Can you kill them both with one rocket, or is that just a remake thing? I don't know. And that one's definitely dead. I think it's better to kill the one that's on the right side, though. Send them into the lava pit. They do drop loot, though, right? Yeah, we don't really want to aim. Okay. Really not. What the? Is this guy... What is this man made of? Holy shit. so tanky. I really thought he would die faster than that. I think I should have just used the fire trap on them. Oh, there was a red and yellow down here. Oops. Oops. Not really worth the rocket. Well, the thing is, I'm going to be, like... I'm gonna be leaving the rocket either way. Well, I mean, I guess I could have sold the rocket, but I don't think they're worth that much. I guess we can see how much it's worth. I wasn't really paying attention. Traded the rocket for 700 pesetas. Yeah, but you don't know what he's gonna have. And it's not like I have space for 2 anyways.
Welcome. Got a selection of what are you selling?
Yeah, it's like 50k, so I just honestly though I don't even care enough. I don't care enough for 50k pesetas to like reload. It's just funny, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was not a good trade. I don't want to redo this section. And we don't really need to, quite frankly. Okay, honestly, I think when we... Did we just 2-shot him? Magnum seems good for this guy. Okay, yeah. You can definitely still kill these guys. I think incendiaries also stun them for a while. I mean, they specifically have reduced health because otherwise... I mean, you would just lose all of your ammo because of them. I have too many nades. Brew. Okay. I think we need to use our rifle a bit more. The reload speed upgrade applied to the bolt animation, yeah. I mean, that's how it works in... Isn't that how it works in RE4 Remake? Like, a fully upgraded bolt rifle in RE4 Remake doesn't actually feel too bad to use. But in this game, it feels horrible. Or it does, I mean, rather, it never feels good, I guess I should say. Hey. Are they done? Oh. How's it going? Oh? How come? For what? Oh, okay. I can, like, find some... Well, we do, it's just they They're like all over the place. Is that a gun? Oh shit. Typewriter. I'm gonna get you, you I don't know. I don't. Luckily, these sections are really easy to do. You just run forward and you climb. Can you check the stats of the Chicago at least? Well, if you had said that, you know, 2 minutes ago, I could have, but now I don't really care.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Got some rare. What are you buying?
Good.
Thank you. What are you buying?
Oh, I can get the exclusive? Oh!
Thank
That
you.
was... What was that exclusive? Like 3 fucking damage, bro?
What are you buying? What are you selling? Ah. Thank you. What are you buying?
I can't even fully upgrade the Matilda yet still. Okay.
What are you selling?
Oh, whatever. We got space again. Fair bit of space.
Come back anytime.
Hello, Fujo. Wonder why they didn't add incendiaries in the remake. Yeah, I don't know. But you do, well, instead of incendiaries, you get 2 types of, you get 2 types of grenades, I guess. You have, like, the normal and the heavy grenades. So. There is still 3 grenades, I guess. you're far enough away, can this guy like not? Wait for him to turn around. Rifle's doing good. Bro's hiding behind a barrel. Well, it seems like the rifle is doing enough damage. Maybe I shouldn't have fully upgraded the capacity on the rifle though, because I could have... I guess I could have like saved myself a lot of ammo. We are already starting to go through the ammo, the rifle ammo pretty quickly. Regenerador is not part of the rando. They are. It's just they're kind of... I don't know how the randomization logic works in this randomizer, to be fair, but you can get them. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of rare. Not really sure. He still opens it even if you don't press the button. Man, it takes a while though. Yeah, we had 4 regenerators in our Gigante fight. It was not great. Not sure how he missed me, but I will take it. I feel like the mine thrower does like no fucking damage. Like it looks cool and everything, but it does almost nothing. And it's kind of dangerous to use too, because it can hit you. Like if you were to shoot an enemy with a mine, right? And then you're a dog. If you shot an enemy with a mine and then it hit you and then the mine blew up afterwards, you would probably just like instantly die. You could like combo yourself out technically. Yeah, I hear a dog sprinting around, which is kind of scary. Yeah, he's probably up top. Key to the mine. I think you can go in the bottom floor. I don't know why I'm even bothering to use the knife. Wait, where'd the dog go? Killed it? Oh. You know, I'm sorry. I don't remember what I kill very well, apparently. I just shoot, alright? Oh, you... Hello. Sure. I think I put it there for me. I should probably just go through the dang door. Like, I really don't need to kill everybody. I think in certain cases during the rando, I really should just... Because enemies aren't gonna, like, chase you across sections. So it is definitely better to... I mean, since we're just doing this, like, casually, that's kind of why I'm... Oh, God. Okay. This seems like a room where you would probably want to flash. And then just like run. Because if you got super salves in here, you just gotta go, man. Well, I saved the flashes for dangerous situations. I could use the incendiaries and the hand grenades, but I feel like I only want to keep, I want to keep the grenades for dangerous enemies, like Verdugo. But I guess Verdugo can also just be killed by the Magnum, so... I don't know. I guess I don't really need to do that. Alright, guys, we could cheat, but I kind of want to see what this section is like. hell is the... Oh my god, I was gonna iframe it by jumping over, but then I couldn't. Oh, I see it. Oh my goodness. You really gotta kill that guy like instantly. I mean, you could just skip this whole part, but you could skip this whole part with the dip man, but that, I don't know. This part, oh man, this is really, I think you just gotta go all in. Like if there's a dangerous enemy like a Gyarados, you just gotta go all in with the Magnum. And shoot them before they jump. Yeah, that's true. I guess if I stay on top of it, it's probably fine. As long as I've got a gun that can actually shoot him down. If I shoot him once with the mag. Yeah, so you could do something like that. To be like perfect. Part seems like the perma run killer. Yeah, this part seems really sketchy in the rando. You need to be like on top. You need to be ready. Honestly, I think TMP would probably be the best for this section because you get a lot of TMP ammo, and you could use your. Why is there so much loot here? Oh, is this all the loot from the enemies that I killed that I missed? Does it all like get teleported here or something? No, gee, those are gold. Oh, is there a bunch of tiny gold pickups? I can't remember what's normally there. Well, either way, that's nice. Wait a sec. Did I... Oh. Oh boy. It's possible that I missed loot in some section. Yeah, we missed something in the room with the enemies. Oh, but I can't go back. Huh. Doesn't seem like it's in here, though. Huh? There's loot in a roof outside. Like... Like, out here? The room before the cart, there's a spinal on the roof. Yeah. In here? I don't know where this item can be unless it's from an enemy that I need to kill. Well, we can teleport to the next area. I just don't know. One of the sand piles? Well, you were right. Nothing, but you were right. Man, where... Could I have missed it in the... Could it be in this could it be in the section beforehand? Maybe it was in this cave and I missed it. Well, we're looking for a key item that we missed. Random drop while carting. That would be kind of fucked up. Because then you're just like... Then you're not allowed to actually take advantage of... Like, shooting the enemies beforehand would... maybe it's this. This looks kind of like a key item, actually. Nope. There's the typewriter here. Check the Chicago stats now. Yeah, I mean, I could. Maybe the guy with the big claws had that item for you. I mean, maybe. Alright, right. I'll check it. Even though I'm not gonna use it. Wait, can I even check it? Oh yeah, I can. 0.9 firepower, hooray. I mean, there's no items after this section with the boulders, I don't think. Can't get through here anymore anyways. It's nice that we could just jump around like this, though. Oh, this isn't the right spot. I don't know where else to check, though. In the minecart section, the second lever, there's an item. What do you mean there's an item? How am I supposed to get the item? Wait, what are you guys talking about? How am I supposed to get that item? Shoot and it drops in the cart. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like there's any enemies here anymore, so that's good, I guess. I don't really know what's gonna happen. I see it. Holy shit, it's right there, actually. What the? The lever doesn't even work anymore. Yeah, I mean, there's... So you okay, you have to make sure to check that. You just have to know. Alright, well, that's good to know. We have to teleport after, because otherwise we can't... Like, with the minecart's broken, it doesn't even work anymore. Yeah, see, this is why we're practicing. All right. Practice for speedrun. No, practice to not softlock or die to bullshit. Well, to get better at not dying to bullshit. Any plans for Metal Gear before Delta comes out? I mean, I'm gonna play the Metal Gear remake. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what it's called? Yes, I'll be playing MGS3 remake. Wait, did I break the game or something? Oh no, maybe you have to trigger this first. Yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine. Or wait, is it fine? Because he's still not moving. Oh, there we go. Like how there's just a million enemies here all of a sudden. Oh. Fucking enemies. Will you die, please? Ow. You like swapping weapons by menu that much? Are you... I mean, no. I prefer remake where I can just... Are they gone now? Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I was just wondering. I mean, I prefer remake where the weapon swapping, you can just press a keybind and swap weapons. Kind of oh my gosh, that was kind of sketchy. It's pretty annoying needing to constantly menu swap in this game. You know, I wonder if there's like a mod for this game that actually makes it so there's like keybinds for the weapons. And swap by hotkeys. I don't think you can. Unless there's some unknown tech I'm unaware of. Tab in the trainer section. Oh, look at that. Wow. Almost like somebody could have said that that's I almost whatever, it's fine. Wish I knew that I wish I knew that sooner. You didn't ask? Okay, well, it's just the one guy in chat is like, whatever. Doesn't matter. That's cool. How does it assign it? Highlighting the weapon in inventory and pressing the hotkey. Oh. Okay. Well, that's really nice. Didn't know you could do that. Oh shoot, did I not? I didn't hit the lever. Yeah, had I known, I would have turned that on a while ago. Cause yeah, the constant menuing in the inventory is super annoying. That's what I'm used to doing because that's how the original normally functions.
So nice you could join us, Mr. Scott Kennedy.
You again.
The sacred rite that's about to begin.
Do I like tapping D? I love it.
Endow the girl with magnificent power.
There is an option in the mod to
She
just
will
make all the
join us,
QTEs
become
automatic.
One of us.
This is no ritual. It's terrorism.
Isn't that a popular word these days? Not to worry. We've prepared a special ritual for you.
I don't have it on, but would be kind of nice. Oh shit. Oh my god. I really thought I was dead there. I was not paying attention. God, dude, the clock tower in this must be horrible. Or I always hated the elevator section in this game, to be honest. Another red and yellow. Alright, sorry, I mean, I shouldn't say I hated it, but it was... Whenever I speedran this game, it kinda... sketched me out. How tanky is this fucking guy? I think he's dead now. I can't remember which enemies you actually need to kill. Oh my god. There's a strap. Yeah, whatever. I'm still menuing because I don't remember what I have everything set to. Oh, we're at the top. Listen, guys, I've played for like so many hours yesterday and today now doing the menu swapping, so I kind of already forgot. Menuing does let you take a breather. It is still useful in some cases, honestly. Wait, isn't there a treasure that I missed? Is there a treasure at the start, or am I... Can you dip them with hotkeys? You can. That's actually ridiculous. Oh wait, it's right here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Got a selection of what are you selling? Thank you. Come back any time. What are you selling? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What are you buying? What are you buying?
I don't think I'm buying anything. I'll buy one brown chicken egg. I organize grenades. The heels are messed up. I don't care. I don't care. All right, I'm gonna go get a drink, chat. I need to like stand up and stretch. I've been taking a break in like a few hours, so I will be back in a minute or two. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
You just missed her. The ritual is over. She left with my men to an
Surprised you're still awake, Salad.
I think it's time I paid my due respects towards your impressive and stubborn will. Mr. Kennedy, welcome.
Trying to find clips for Rando Salt Part 5. Nice.
Monsters. Guess after this, there'll be one less to worry about.
I want you to suffer just like Ashley.
What? How many shots does this take, man? Man, what a crazy fight that was. That was insane. Oh. Whoa. All right, I can swap my weapons now. Don't forget. Now, I was curious if I could... Why are you so tanky? Fox YouTube commenters love you using the knife. What, are they always telling him to use the knife to like save ammo or whatever? Honestly, I feel like most of my knifing has been kind of unnecessary. Like we've always had, I would say generally like more than enough ammo.
Morirás vivir.
I mean, especially considering I'm like killing everything.
Cogedlo, cogedlo. Morirás vivir. Morirás vivir. Cogedlo, 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 cogedlo.
Oh my god.
Morirás vivir.
I don't even have mine darts. Honestly, dude, we have enough healing. I mean, we probably also have enough ammo, but I'm not sure how much I really like the mine thrower. It's okay. 'Cause it doesn't do that good of damage, and I don't think I don't even think you can upgrade the mine thrower. Or maybe you can. Maybe I could have upgraded it, but I needed to sell it. It's just Salazar, don't worry about him.
Got some rare things. What are you buying?
We can upgrade the Matilda.
Thank
4.2
you.
firepower. Not
Thank
bad.
you.
We could conserve. We could like use more ammo and then upgrade the capacity. I don't know what the exclusive is for the Matilda. Okay, you know what? I want to test though. Can you upgrade the mine thrower, or does it just have like fixed stats? Actually, I guess we could find out. Oh, you can upgrade it. I guess I need to sell it and buy it back.
Not. What are you buying?
Oh shit! Look at that firepower increase. Oh my god, Chad, what have we been doing?
Thank you.
Oh yeah, let me check it out. I was waiting until I got to like a good stopping point, but then I forgot. 100 ammo? Oh wow.
Thank you.
Watch it also increase
What
radius.
are you buying? What are you selling? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
What are you buying?
We've had so many upgrades in this run. Spot RE4 2005. You can launch it on Windows. No, you don't need the HD project. It should work fine. Okay, hold on. There's a new skip in Liza P. Let's see. Let's see what Cookie cooked up.
Veronique fought until the bitter end. But even if we could have helped her, it was far too late. At least her suffering is over.
It is a range upgrade. Oh, really? It's so funny though that pogos are back, man. It's just, it's so sad because you have like so that, for those who don't know, there's a weapon in the DLC that lets you do pogos again. It's not, you can't zip anymore, but you can launch yourself up in the air, right? Which can obviously let you skip a lot of stuff still. But this weapon is like, it's early on in the DLC, so you can get it right away, which is amazing. But it's in the DLC, which is in Chapter 9, so you can't, like, I don't know, the base game is still fairly glitchless. Well, not completely, but there isn't really that much stuff you could do in like base game at the moment. The DLC is super broken though. There's like skips for everything.
There's no doubt about it.
Pretty sure you skip like half the boss fights in the DLC now.
And it happened quite recently from the look of things.
Honestly though, it kind of makes me sad that I almost feel like the Wo Long weapon is, it's like too good. Every DLC weapon is broken. I mean, compared to the Wo Long glaive, I don't know. Although yeah, I mean there are some. Okay. Pogo there. The wrench was kind of hard to use though, I thought. Or actually maybe not. I don't know. I didn't really like the wrench. Oh my god. Yeah, this weapon just lets you do such big pogos. Oh, so this skips you to the boss fight? Or wait, is this after the... No, this is... Wait, what? We're not playing Lies of P. I'm just watching a skip. Oh, it's an alternative path. Okay. Wait, so this doesn't skip the boss, right? Because isn't this when you fight the boss? When you get to this cutscene? It skips the Overseer? Okay. Wait, so what is this cutscene then? Is this after the boss, I guess? I can't even remember what happens here. I thought that he like attacks you at this part. Oh, this is the Guardian. Okay, so I am still I'm just getting it mixed up. Wait, who's the two-faced Overseer? I already like, I mean, I know I didn't... Oh, okay, wait. I know who he is. It's the guy with the pickle jar. Pickle jar head guy. Not the worst Killer 7. I mean, it's not great. It's 12.9. Yeah, it's definitely not amazing. Doesn't even look like shit. It looks like the freaking boat's floating.
Okay.
yes, obviously boats float, but I should say it looks like it's flying now, okay?
Got some business to take care of. See you later.
Women. I hate to break it out to you, but Salazar's dead.
Yes, it seems that way.
Sadler, why don't you give up and let Ashley go home?
Perhaps you are disillusioned with overconfidence, just because you killed my small-time subordinate.
Sadler, you're small time.
Oh. Writhe in my cage of torment, my friend.
Okay, honestly, chat, I might call it a night here. I wanted to finish this run today, but I kind of want to go relax. I'm a little tired today. That chatter was correct earlier. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we have too much left. Maybe like half an hour, an hour. Island is pretty long in the OG. So, I think... Excuse me. I think I'm just gonna call it here, and we'll finish this up tomorrow when the one guy is right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm gonna go chill out, chat. But thank you all for joining me for the RE4 rando. It's been a lot of fun going through this. We'll finish up the island tomorrow, and then maybe we'll try some like permadeath attempts. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there's no harm in doing some permadeath attempts. Death Stranding 2 is only like 4 or 5 days away now, so pretty exciting, dude. I don't know. Maybe after we finish this rando, I will start Death Stranding 1, like a casual run. I'm still not 100% sure if I'm gonna replay DS1 before DS2 comes out, but we'll see. We will see. Might burn yourself out. Yeah, I mean I don't know if you were the same guy who said that earlier, but it's possible. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think I would get bored of Death Stranding 2. It's a new game, anyways. Like, if it was Death Stranding 1 remake or remastered or something, then yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to play that beforehand, but it might not be a bad idea to play Death Stranding 1 just to remember the story and everything. I mean, we could still rush through it. We don't have to... It doesn't have to be like a super slow, giga casual playthrough. I mean, we'll obviously watch the cutscenes and stuff, but